feels like I was just doing this. I don't mean last Thursday. I mean at the school, which seems like yesterday, but was actually 3 years ago. ACE is an interesting club, isn't it? This is a club that was formed out of a community of Toastmasters because we knew that there was more than what we found in our clubs. And we wanted something bigger and better. We wanted to grow beyond what we could do within our little conclaves. So we all came together and formed something to help us all grow. To help us take the steps that we felt unable to take by ourselves. Now I love John Bingham. He's called the Penguin, and he's a back-of-the-pack runner and a back-of-the-pack writer. And his stories are all about what it's like not to win the race, but to finish the race. In every race that he writes about, every marathon he writes about, there are really two races going on. At the front, there's the race against each other for the money. And in the back, there's the race against yourself to just take one more step, to do one more thing that you didn't know you could do. He writes about that back of the pack. Because in the back of the pack, that's where the magic happens. The back of the pack is where you don't experience the race flying by you at warp speed at 5-minute miles. The back of the pack is where you experience the community coming together so that you all cross the line at one time. And there are great stories about what happens in the back of the pack. There are great stories about people coming together to do something beyond what they thought was possible. At this year's New York City Marathon, a lady had a heart attack in the back of the pack, right by a doctor who was also in the back of the pack. And do you think he was concerned about finishing the race? Only after stopping and saving that woman's life, making sure that she was packed up in an ambulance to go to the hospital and was in stable condition, did he go on and walk the rest of his marathon. Now, all of us are doing something similar because all of us at one point or another have walked through the doors of a Toastmasters club and said, how can I help? How can I help? And look around the room that's here. You don't see Toastmasters that are here because they want to be themselves the best Toastmaster possible. You see people that are here because they want to be the best version of themselves that's possible. And they know that they can only get better by helping somebody else get better. Nobody in this room is a Toastmaster because they want the accolades, because they want the trophy, because they want to be the one that is celebrated. This is a club that comes together for us all to be celebrated. So there are three things that I want to leave ACE with. Three things I think are very important to remember about who we are and where we're going, and what it means to be an ACE Toastmaster. And the first, and I think the most important thing, is to remember that we all have these shared stories that we tell. And the stories that we share with the rest of Toastmasters, with our companies outside of Toastmasters, aren't the stories of how we've succeeded individually, but they're the stories of how we've succeeded collectively. A year ago, just over a year ago today, I found myself sitting in a room listening to a speech for the second time at the golf club in St. Augustine, Florida. And beside me, as I sat in the aisle, right beside me, sat Jeremy Udell. And Jeremy and I had hatched this cockamamie plan a year before. I said, wouldn't it be great if we together could find a way to both get to the evaluation finals and take home first and second for the district? And in that moment when I found myself sitting beside Jeremy in St. Augustine, Florida, I realized that that journey wasn't mine to take alone. It was only possible because I was willing to help Jeremy, and Jeremy was willing to help me. And when his name was called that he finished second, a euphoria rushed over me not because I realized I was probably going to finish first. All right, well, not just because I realized I was going to finish first, but because I had held up a promise to help somebody else go farther than what he thought was possible. And that's the story that I want to be shared about that experience. Not that we ended up coming in first and second, but that we shared the journey together. Because together, we were the tide that raises all ships. And it's only in that shared journey, those shared stories, that we all get better. And the second thing I want you to remember is that we all have certain artifacts that we carry around to show to others to what it means to be an ace Toastmaster. And I don't necessarily mean the nice little pins that Michelle makes us wear at every TLI. And I don't necessarily mean the amazing timing lights that we have in ace Toastmasters, or the amazing decorum that we have for rules within ace Toastmasters. Because that's not us. Instead, the artifacts that we share are our willingness to go out and help other people. It's our willingness to be the tide that raises all ships. Look at every TLI, look at every conference, and who do you see on stage holding newbies' hands to help them get through the process, to go one step beyond what they thought was possible? It's us. The artifacts that we share are those physical things that allow us to celebrate who we are. And maybe they're trophies, and I sure hope that next year there's another name added to that evaluation trophy. But it doesn't have to be a trophy. It's everything that we do, the videos we share, the help we give, the hand that we extend. I wanted you to make sure that as you go forward, those artifacts and those stories are so incredibly important to continue with. And the third thing I want you to know, and the third thing I want you to continue as ACE, is remember those four little words. How can I help? How can I help? Because it's only with those four little words, not when they're spoken, but when they're acted upon. Because yes, your words are important, but your actions are what give those words meaning. How can I help? I don't want you to just reach out and ask a new Toastmaster, how can I help you in Toastmasters? Because nobody joins Toastmasters to be a better Toastmaster. But how can I help? How can I help Kate with her side project? How can I help TK continue to display the vulnerability that we all wish we could share? How do I help John learn to bob and weave when Rocky is throwing haymakers right and left? How can I help Leah find a faster way to get here? You laugh, but how can I help? I joined Toastmasters because I wanted to do something bigger than what I thought I could do. I knew that inside of me rested a potential that I didn't know where it would lead. And in the last 2 years especially, since I came back and now that I'm leaving again, you've helped me find a voice that I really didn't know I had. You've helped me find a passion not to be a better speaker, be a better listener, to be a better leader or communicator, but to just be a better me. And I hope that as somebody reaches out and says, hey, I'm stuck and I need some help, my hope for all of you is that your first reaction is what my first reaction has become. How can I help? ACE is unlike every club in Orlando. We open our doors for everyone to come in to try to do something better and to invest ourselves in their journey. As you commence your journey, as our paths diverge, please share the stories, share the artifacts, and by all means remember, the journey is not in the destination. The journey is in every step you take. Every time you reach out and ask, how can I help? Tony.
Thank you.